Welcome to The Queen's Lair, a lifestyle podcast. Get inspired by our latest tips and information about small business, entrepreneurship, natural hair, travel, food, and even relationships. Stay tuned for another great episode. I am your host, Renee Patrice. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning into my podcast once again. I'm going to jump right into it today. There is a saying that says, you reap what you sow. And we all know this is very true. You know, if we're speaking in the terms of farming, you don't plant tomatoes and then reap peppers. That's just not how it works. We all know that. But I got to really thinking about that phrase, and I thought, well, I want to expound on it a little bit. So it's not only just you reap what you sow, but you reap where you sow. So if you planted all these tomatoes over here on the left, the chances that tomatoes are going to grow on the right is probably zero because you planted them all on the left. So switch that into entrepreneur mode or small business mode. And also my 9-to-5 people who are hustling out there to have a side business that you're trying to get cracking. You cannot, and this is probably going to resonate with you guys even more, you cannot expect to want to leave your 9-to-5 and get out of, the so-called rat race of the 9-to-5, and you only put minimal effort into building up that side hustle, building up that business that you've always wanted, to do. You cannot think that just working on something whenever you have time or whenever you can get to it is going to make it successful. You have to be consistent. And I know that I talk a lot about consistency on this podcast because consistency is one of the main things that will keep you in the game. I have to talk myself up, even for me. I have to talk my own self up to stay consistent. I'll drop off and not post for a while, and I definitely see the difference. I definitely see the engagement drop down. I definitely see that people are not as, in tune to what it is that I'm doing. So I have to push myself, even me, to be consistent as well. As I talk to my clients all the time about being consistent. You can't just not post on social media for a couple of weeks and, you don't have anything else going on. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to be like, I got to post something every single day. I try to post every day on my social media in some way, shape, or form. It may not always be on Instagram. Sometimes it's on Twitter. I do try to post at least one thing on Instagram every day, whether it's in my stories or on my timeline. And if you don't see anything on my timeline, chances are there's definitely going to be something in my stories. Because I know that consistency pays off. When I wanted to grow my stories, meaning I wanted to grow, if people are not familiar with stories, I don't know how much you guys use your Instagram or even if you have Instagram, but Instagram has something called IG stories, like Instagram stories, and they last for 24 hours, right? So I try to make sure that I put pertinent information. I kind of want to keep my timeline that you see all the time and stick to kind of like a grid form that I have on there. If you look at my timeline, every other post has something to do that, that's branded with Onyx Queen Media on it. That's not by chance. That is the plan. That is what I came up with to be able to keep my brand out there and to, so that people can see that. So people may not know me personally, and that's okay. But they definitely have seen my logo somewhere before. They've seen it on the Explore page. I'm doing more Reels now. If people are not familiar with Reels, Reels are Instagram's answer to TikTok. And a lot of people are bringing their TikToks and posting them over on Reels within Instagram. Those get to the Explore page very easily and get a lot of exposure. So you have to stay consistent. And like I said, it's not simple. I have to talk myself into it sometimes, because sometimes I feel like I don't even know if people are listening. But then I will get DMs. Then I will get emails of people saying, wow, I listened to your podcast. I saw a post that you put up in your stories, but I didn't get a chance to go back and check it again. And then it disappeared because they go away after 24 hours. You think you could give me that information again, or whatever? I get so many different messages for so many things, and I thank you guys for that, because it means that you're tuning in and what I'm doing and what I'm saying is resonating with you. So I appreciate that. But the one thing that people always ask me about is, how do you really get going? How do you, stay out there and, motivated? And the thing is, you just got to be consistent. I don't care if people only click like, 1, 2 times, whatever. Just stay consistent. Your audience will find you. They will find you. But if you're not posting anything, how do you expect to stay ahead of the algorithm? Don't worry about it. The algorithm changes all the time. Just be consistent. Check your insights and see what are the top days that people have their eyes on your Instagram, especially for Instagram, because insights are so valuable. All right, so if you have a business page on Instagram, when you go into your settings, you can switch it to a business page, and it will give you all these amazing analytics, and you'll be able to see the 2, 3, 4, whatever days that people are on your page the most. I know that Tuesday is a major day for me. Tuesday, overwhelmingly, people are on my page on Tuesday, and I know why, because on Tuesdays I often do Talk Tuesday in my stories, where people can ask me questions and I give them business advice and things like that. So I know why Tuesday is a big day. Wednesday, I usually try to circulate my posts in a way that Wednesday ends up being like a Wisdom Wednesday post, or something that I post in my stories, and also on the open feed as well. So I understand why those are hot days. So the algorithm is giving you everything that you need, and it's free. So pay attention to that and stay consistent with that. So if you know that Tuesdays is overwhelmingly when your audience is on, then if you have a product, what day do you think that you will post that product? Post it on a Tuesday. I see a lot of people want to sell things on Fridays and post on Fridays. I need to get you in the mode of what I have available, so that when you do get your check on Friday, when the stimulus check does come in, you're setting money aside to spend with my small business or any other small business out there. So start talking to people on Tuesday. Start talking to, if that's your hot day that you have, start talking to them on Tuesday and consistently post on that day. And let's say Tuesdays at 3 p.m. is like, is what your insights are telling you. So somewhere between 3 and 3:30 every Tuesday, post pertinent information, so that you become the guru of whatever genre it is that you're dealing with, whatever you do for your job, whether you're a media personality, whether you're an influencer, whether you're a person who does piano lessons, whatever it is. Share with people some sort of wisdom, or allow them to pick your brain or whatever like that. Get creative, but stay consistent, because I truly believe while you reap what you sow, you also have to understand that it took me a while to understand this. You also reap where you sow. That's all I got for you guys this week. Thank you so much again for the support on this podcast. I know I say it every now and then. Every few podcasts, I like to shout out the different countries. I'm probably going to do it in the next podcast after this, but my thank you podcast is up. So if you go back a few podcast episodes, you will hear my thank you, my special thank you to everyone, and also get like a rundown of what Onyx Queen Media is doing and where I want to go, with the different brands that are underneath the umbrella of Onyx Queen Media, which of course is this podcast and Blackberry Naturals, all of that. So thank you so much for tuning in. I will talk to you guys next week. Oh, and if you want to get in touch with me on social media, at Onyx Queen Media, keep your questions coming. I am lining up episodes, especially for the month of April, with your questions. So if you have something burning that you would like me to answer, I will turn it into a podcast so that not only you will benefit, but other people can too. Talk to you guys next week. Bye.